Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at what's making the business headlines. In our top story, Dubai is among the top 10 most popular business locations in the world, according to a new report by real estate services company CB Richard Ellis. The Emirates secured 9th place overall, while the UAE as a whole ranked 15th. In its Business Footprints Global Office Location Study, the company also said that half of the 280 international firms from over 100 countries surveyed have an office presence in Dubai. Hong Kong came in as the number 1 business location, which is home to 68% of all the companies surveyed, followed by Singapore, Tokyo and London.
Dubai has come in 9th in the global business footprint ranking, amounting 61% of the occupiers that were surveyed. I think the key factors in making this position have been the development of infrastructure in recent years, also the quality of office space that is available, and also some important changes that have been made to the regulatory environment that have improved transparency and generally made this a better business environment for international corporates looking to move to the region.
UAE consumer prices rose 1.7% in June year-on-year and 0.2% compared to May, according to figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Food prices were the main driver of inflation after rising 1.4% month-on-month in June. Housing costs, which make up the largest chunk of consumer spending, rose only marginally at 0.2% for the month, after they dropped in the first 5 months of the year. And transport costs remained unchanged. Analysts say that should keep headline inflation in check. They predict an average inflation rate for the UAE of 2% this year. DP World has bought a controlling stake in 2 port services companies in the South American country of Suriname, as the port operator expects trade in South America to increase significantly, the company said in a statement today. According to Reuters, DP World did not say how much it paid for the 2 controlling stakes in Integra Port Services and Suriname Port Services, but said it expects to close the transaction in the 3rd quarter. DP World added it will have a management services agreement for both terminals. As half-year results start to emerge, Islamic mortgage lender Tamweel is the latest company to release its figures. It recorded a first-half net profit 5 times as high as last year's 55 million dirhams. The shares gained 1.6% on the DFM today. And let's now take a look at the overall trading here in the UAE and the Gulf region. And in our world business news, world stocks clawed back some recent losses after better-than-expected U.S. earnings. However, a sword of Damocles hangs over the positive sentiment as investors are beginning to focus on Thursday's Eurozone Emergency Summit. It is the second time in a month that EU leaders try to resolve the debt crisis. Markets are hoping they will finally complete a second bailout for Greece and stop the sovereign debt crisis from infecting larger countries such as Italy and Spain. Should Europe's leaders fail to provide a definite plan for Greece, the currently positive sentiment could immediately disappear. Analysts say, though, that the debt crisis is not all bad news, as it causes the euro to weaken against the dollar, which makes life easier for the region's exporters. So far, the EU governments have failed to give the market a clear indication of what the way forward will be for Greece. We earlier spoke to Philippe Dauba-Pantanacce, senior economist at Standard Chartered Bank, and asked him what he thinks the outcome of Thursday's meeting will be and how Greece's future and that of its bondholders will look like.
Well, tomorrow the plan really is to try to find a solution for a medium-term bailout as opposed to short-term bailout for the Greek debt problem. What is at stake right now is 115 billion euros of more debt to sort out for Greece. So the idea right now is that 30 billion should be coming from privatization, 55 billion should be coming from new lending, and there's the controversial part of the 30 billion more that should be coming from private sector participation. Now, what we are hearing is that the probable outcome will be, first of all, an extension of the maturities up to 30 years and a cut of the interest rate up to 3.5%, which will definitely improve the debt profile and dynamic of the Greek debt. A lot of people are talking about Greece exiting the euro, but we do think that it would be an extremely costly and disruptive option that would trigger massive bank default and a collapse of all markets. So I don't think that this is on the table right now.
US President Barack Obama threw his support behind efforts by a bipartisan group of senators to negotiate a new deficit reduction plan aimed at averting a default on the US debt. The senators revived a deficit reduction plan that would include $3.75 trillion in savings over the next 10 years and includes $1.2 trillion in new tax revenues. Despite the two parties being one step closer to reaching a deal, Obama said he will try to resume White House meetings with congressional leaders. He once more stressed the need to reach a deal soon, as the nation could run out of money to pay its debt on August 2nd.
We don't have any more time to engage in symbolic gestures. We don't have any more time to posture. It's time to get down to the business of actually solving this problem. And I think we now are seeing the potential for a bipartisan consensus around what that would take.
Before we go, here's a quick overview of the oil and currency markets, and after that we have the day's sports news for you.